everyone, welcome to I'm Not a Fan Unless I Have a Podcast. I'm John Hanford, and this episode is the first episode since Thanksgiving, so definitely belated happy Thanksgiving to everybody that's watching or listening, or even if you're not living in America, if you're in a different country, just know that we had a day where we were grateful for something. I had a great Thanksgiving. Very simple, low key. Had my friend Christy Belich here. She's another stand-up comedian, and we're going on the road to Austin, Texas tomorrow. So at the time that this episode comes out, we will be in Austin. I'm recording this on Friday, and we're excited to see what's going on in the world of Southwest and Texas comedy. So that'll be fun. We'll be distanced, we'll be masked, and being as responsible as we can be while pursuing our careers and bringing people that want to be entertained joy. So so that's that. But this episode is the first episode that I've ever it's the first time that I've ever interviewed a band. These guys they're called Deepsea Daniels. They're a garage psych band out of LA. I didn't listen to them before I interviewed them, which that's kind of a weird thing to do. Maybe I should have done that prep. But we were primarily talking about King Giz, and it isn't so much an interview as it is just a hang here on this podcast. So it was different, but I listened to them after I interviewed them, or after I talked with them, just before I did this intro, and holy shit, I can now say I got to interview Deepsea Daniels. They're a fucking tremendous psych band. I really like what they bring. It's a cool sound. It's pretty mixed. The songs don't all sound the same. They're a bunch of fucking kids. And they've only been playing together for like a year. I feel like they're onto something good. So I'm really stoked to have them on here. Also, if they do sound a little familiar, you might remember Shane, their bassist. He was on the second episode of this podcast, and I think I forget which number, but we had him on again over the summer. He brought his friend on, and then this time he brought his two of his bandmates on, Alex and Alex. So this was a really interesting episode. Definitely, I mean, like, Shane and I vibe pretty well, so this is one conversation that is just like, it's pretty constant flow. We're both in a pretty good pretty humorous mood. We got some laughs too. It's a funny show. Sometimes I don't know what the fuck am I saying, but so we break down KG live in San Francisco 16, and we also talk about their sound, and we do a whole this is a really fun episode. You guys are gonna love it, and just want to say I guess it's like we're basically in the holiday season now, so I hope you all are staying warm. You're surrounded by people that you love, and friends, and hopefully not the opposite of that. But anyway, without further ado, here is Deepsea Daniels. So obviously I know Shane, and I don't know the rest of Deepsea Daniels. Who are you guys?
So I'm Alex, but in the band we call me Devani because
I'm also Alex.
That works. So is Devani your last name, or?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Sick. So you're just Alex number one. Got it.
Yep.
Sick. So
we have a fourth member who's not taking part.
Damn. But I guess
we're getting
he's still a Giz newbie.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, everybody needs their own Lucas, like I've heard him talk like maybe twice, no, that's sick. I'm thrilled to like have a whole band here, like three quarters. So you guys, I take it, are all Giz fans. What's been your initial take on KG?
I probably like it the most out of the three of us. I mean, I think the singles definitely fit better in the album than when they were just singles. And I mean, I like it a lot.
Yeah. So what about the Alexes? Where's the disconnect?
I I really like the album, and especially what Shane said too about because Straws in the Wind and Some of Us, I really wasn't into when they were just singles, and now it fits better as the album. I'm really into a couple of the tracks, but overall, I'm pretty into it.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about?
Yeah, sorry. I would agree with Alex. Like, I was super into Honey. Like, I thought Honey was sick. Automation obviously is super sick. But like, yeah, like you said, Straws in the Wind. I was like, I'm like slowly getting into it. But once I heard in the album, I was like, okay, like this is like why it's meant to be. Like in the album sense, I thought it was really sick like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, I was just out for a walk before this, just listening to the album, take it in one more time so I could like really have it fresh in my mind. And one of the things like you're talking about with the singles having been released, like one of the things that I was thinking about was like, I kind of wish I hadn't exhausted all those singles. Like, I don't know how many hundreds of times I've listened to Honey, Straws in the Wind. I think it's like that was my favorite of the singles that they released. I mean, just like it was such an intense groove, like you know, like with the weird time signature plus just the subject matter and like all the like the different, you know, like piano parts that the Cookie was putting on it. And yeah, it was just a fucking fascinating song to me. But like I kind of like how they released the singles to sort of illustrate like, hey, we're gonna be all over the place, like especially with Some of Us. I was like, what? Okay, we're getting into some new territory here. But yeah, it kind of made, but back to my point, it made me think like maybe I shouldn't listen to singles anymore, like before an album comes out, just because like now that I've listened to KG all the way through, I'm just like, why is Honey even on this album? You know, like it does. I think it does work, but it's like just since I listened to that as a standalone track, and I had so many preconceived notions of what the album was going to be based on just Honey.
Mm-hmm. Especially because the first one too.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking originally like maybe we're going to get some sort of like microtonal Fishing for Fishies type of thing, or but yeah, it turned out that was the only track like that.
Yeah, actually, it reminds me of when they put out Psy Boogie.
Oh, true.
Because that was the first single from Fishies too, so it was like kind of a
all
similar situation.
Yeah, it's like a classic misdirect, I guess. Which I guess that's like kind of what the band does constantly. Yeah. Like
their second album ever was Eyes Like the Sky, right?
What a ballsy move. I mean, that's just that's just waving your dick in the wind. I mean, like Eyes Like the Sky is such a great album.
Yeah.
It's such a genius idea, but you'd never think that was the sophomore album of you know, of a band.
It's kind of insane, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna go off of what you said, like how the album is like really like eclectic kind of. I was reading that, I don't know if you read this, but it was the NME review of the album, and they pretty much said like, oh, King Gizzard repeats an album for the first time. Like they're saying like that it's the same as Microtonal Land. I was like, did you listen to it?
Insane.
Like it's like dumb. Like
first of all, it's such a bad take.
Yeah. First of all, I feel
not a good take.
King Gizzard doesn't owe us to make a new, like reinvent the wheel every single album. Like they're a band, like they're not going to reinvent the wheel like every single time they put something else. I was like, well, you can't be comparing like album to album like that.
Yeah. I mean, also, it's volume 2. What the fuck were they thinking, like, it would be? Like, I mean, and, like, honestly, Straws in the Wind, that, like, really made me sort of reassess my relationship with my news consumption. And I kind of like that the album got a shit review from NME. Just because it's just like, yeah, it confirmed everything that like I've been thinking recently. Just like, you guys are just writing shit because you're not actually creating anything yourself. Like,
Yeah, I think this album has some of the most varied sound on a single album that we've heard from them. Like from everything, like I mean, comparing Intrasport to anything on the album, let alone the other stuff they've done, is super new. Even production-wise, the sound on the album is really varied. Like compare the vocals on Straws in the Wind to like Joey's vocals on like Minimum Brain Size is like vastly different. Like
Even
production,
automation too.
Yeah.
Automation
even like
voice.
Minimum Brain Size really stood out to me, along with Ontology, I think, as like vocals specifically, like some of the more like normal sounding, like clear vocals that we've heard from Gizzard, which I thought was really sick.
Oh, true, yeah.
And Joey's voice really shines on those songs. I like them a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Joey just kind of, to me, it seems like he just kind of owned this album.
Yeah, he popped off.
I mean, yeah, and like this is it sort of started like I really started to gain an appreciation for Joey when I saw him play at fucking the LA show last year, in whatever, the Greek Theater. Yeah, like he was, because like they did the whole Horology Suite, and he did some other songs too, I think, and like it just seemed cool how Joey was like kind of becoming like, or sort of coming into his own in a weird way. Like it didn't seem like that was necessarily possible. Fuck, your video froze again. All right, Deepsea Daniels on its way back. Deepsea Daniels, Deepsea Daniels, work internet, get the video. Yeah, we got it. All right. Yeah. No, thank God you guys stopped me on my, from going on another diatribe about how much I love Joey. But I mean, but seriously, like he brings such an awesome like pop element to the record that like, I mean, Intrasport is such a fantastic song.
So great.
I mean, but like also Minimum Brain Size, the lyrics to that are just like so overwhelmingly relevant.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's like, I just love that Gizzard finally released a song, just calling a spade, just saying you're all fucking idiots. Like, it's, I mean, like back when I used to work like a cynical corporate job, we used to refer to our, target audience as lowest common denominator, because we just wanted their money. Right. And this is basically the same kind of thing, except done way more, artistically than just a soulless cash grab. But anyway, yeah, I was really into yeah, I mean, like Ontology, I think, is my favorite track from the album. Just that intro, or just the way it transitions so abruptly from Some of Us, just with the woo and here we go, it's side B. Like, fuck, man.
One thing about Ontology that I thought this just stuck out to me, that I thought was really interesting. I feel like most of King Gizzard's microtonal stuff kind of falls into like the minor scale, and I thought it was really cool to see them do like the microtonal and like the major scale a little bit for most of the song, and that just stood out to me a lot.
That major section hits so hard.
Yeah, went to the major, and then it like fluctuates to the minor for the verses, obviously. But
yeah, I mean, for me, like I wanted Intrasport to be my favorite, but then Ontology, it was just like this grand sound,
very cinematic.
Yeah, oh, tremendous. And like it I mean, it kind of reminds me of like it could be a soundtrack for like some kind of psychedelic Western film, like that was sort of like it seemed to be like kind of a, I don't know, maybe an unintentional ode to Eyes Like the Sky, but it gave me hope that maybe they're going to do some more sort of like, cowboy or Western themed thing. But sup, person off screen.
This is Alex's grandma.
Oh, cool.
Delivered to us.
Oh yeah.
Hi, this is Grandma. I have food for you. Pigeon cutlet.
That looks delicious. Oh my God.
That's all.
We love you too.
So this is my grandson too?
Yeah,
I got all the grandson.
Thank you.
Hey, Jason.
He's not
here. He has to
here.
work.
Yeah.
Okay. People love that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm totally here for this. Oh shit! That
interruption.
yeah. Oh, that so welcome. I mean, usually it's like somebody's dog will just come on screen out of the blue, and like that's always fun. Yeah, but this is we've got a Giz grandma now, so that's sweet. Giz Pod grandma. There we go. But yeah, other thing with ontology, like maybe you guys have been thinking this as well. But like when Rat's Nest came out and, there's that second part of Hell, it was just like, what the fuck's this? We see it again in ontology. And it's different because it's like in the middle of the album, What would like, is that something that jumped out at you guys as well?
The switch up in Odd Life stuck out to me more. In the end where it gets like heavy and then Ambrose starts spitting bars.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really think of Odd Life in that same way because like there wasn't, like it's more of a seamless transition. It's just like
that's true.
I thought of the ontology one almost like Invisible Face. How Invisible Face kind of like fizzles off and then it kind of goes into the more like Brazilian kind of jam section of the kind of thing or whatever you can call it. But I thought it was similar to that.
Yeah. Wait. You thought that with oh yeah. I guess with ontology,
how it kind of fades out and then it kind of comes in with like a more like like rootsy jam a little bit.
Yeah. No, it's. I mean, they have so many different transitions and different like parts of the songs that like. I was thinking about this earlier. Like, it's the structure of most of the song or a few of the songs in the album. Like, I can't quite wrap my head around it. Like what do you even call a pre-chorus or a chorus or a bridge? Like there's just different parts of the song. It seems like, I don't know, maybe that'll just come with time, but,
true.
Yeah.
There's also like that desert wind that began with Flying Microtonal Banana. And we see this album start and end the same way. And somebody pointed out in one of the Facebook groups that like the fade out at the end of the album is much shorter than it was on like Flying Microtonal Banana Volume 1, leaving open this like like kind of like the likelihood, in my opinion, that we're gonna see like a sister album to this, LW, probably pretty soon.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
There was someone posted an interview with Ambrose and asked him about the LW, and he seemed to give like a soft confirmation. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's like usually when you get like a soft confirmation, it's just like, oh, okay, I guess it's gonna happen. Even though like you should be way more excited for it. Like, I don't know, because like it sort of lets. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into this too much, but for me, like it just sort of like lets down the mystery a little bit, Like I in a way, I would kind of rather have them be like, maybe, but I don't know. Maybe it's kind of the same. I'm just talking out my ass now, but yeah. I mean, so we had a double release day yesterday with Live in San Francisco 16. Have you guys gotten a chance to take that in?
I haven't.
Not all of it.
Yeah.
I listened to the whole thing. I thought it was great. I think it has. I mean, people are obviously comparing it to Chunky. I think it has some things that are better and some things not as much. Definitely the set list and having it be more of like an uninterrupted concert type of feel is super awesome. I mean, all of that, the songs from that era are like probably their most popular. And then I think the what was it, Head on Pill at the very end where they did that medley, that was a highlight. That's like one of my favorites of that song, or one of my favorite live recordings from them, for sure.
Yeah, I got I've only listened to it once all the way through.
Me too.
And it was so cool just to like hear them, just start with Nonagon Infinite, or with Robot Stop, I mean, also you hear this girl like presumably standing in the front row right against the rail, just like 2 drummers, and then like it's insane, and she's like that's insane, and then Stu just like goes right in, and I was like, oh fuck, this is gonna be a great album, like like she really set the stage, and you hear her like throughout, like whenever they're in the middle of you know, like whenever they're tuning up or something or changing instruments, yeah, like she just keeps like heckling Joey, just like, hey dickhead, because you know he used to have like the dickhead like written on a piece of masking tape, which I forgot about, and like that was a fun, you know, nugget from the past. But I mean, I just loved how that set list was like, it basically rewrote Nonagon as like a live show, you know, by incorporating, you know, the Mindfuzz suite, and then like also going back to Robot Stop at the end of the Head on Pill medley, like it was just a really cool, like I don't know much about like how Giz was playing Head on Pill, like if they were doing medleys with it like this whole time, or if that only started like with the Nonagon tour, but because it seemed a little bit like they I don't know, like they didn't quite know what they were doing with it, like it was very improvised, and like they maybe hadn't done it a ton, but that was like kind of a cool thing for me, you know, because like I like to see shit from its early stages and whatnot, and yeah. I don't know if that was like a good way to like get you guys to start talking about, but it's just something that's been on my mind.
I think what you're saying about how that medley sounded pretty new or like unrehearsed, I think is a really common theme with their sound. I mean, their whole kind of philosophy about like having this high output, which is something specifically that we really admire, is that they've set up a kind of ability in the way that they create to be really free and just try random stuff, and you know, it doesn't have to be like super polished, and because that's what people expect from them. And so it's like when something different like Intrasport comes out, people don't take it really seriously, and you were able to like really enjoy it for it being different. And I think that pretty much that medley pretty much just encapsulates like what they're about.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, yeah, you know, like now that we've exhausted all these the 2 new albums that came out, tell me a bit about Deepsea Daniels, because like I mean, like Shane was the second guy I ever had on this podcast, and it just, you guys sounded like had a fucking badass band. So like yeah, what so Alex and I already forgot your pseudonym, like DeVry University or something. Like, Alex DeVry is.
Yeah, DeVry. Yeah, DeVry University. Sometimes we write songs that sound like they belong in DeVry University.
Yeah. So who's on what instrument?
We both play guitar.
He's talking to Alex and Devani on guitar, and then Shane's on bass.
I play bass.
And then we all do a little bit of singing. But.
Sick. So like, how would you? I mean, so I've actually like never interviewed a band before. And like ultimately this is more of a hang than an actual interview. But I don't know what I'm trying to get at. But you know, this is like one of the parts in the podcast where it's just like where I'm basically just having a major brain fart. And yeah, I like. So how did the band come together? I guess is I'm trying not to ask too corny of questions, but I guess it's like relevant information.
Shane's mom.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story.
Yeah, Shane's mom.
I was playing music and I by myself, and we really wanted to be in a band, and then me and Alex actually he lived across the street from me, like directly, and we knew each other as like little kids, you know, and then we kind of just grew apart. And then I would always hear him playing and be like, man, like, but I was too embarrassed to ask because we hadn't talked in forever. And then he was like getting into his car, and then my mom was like, Alex, Shane wants to play music with you.
Oh man.
Like, yeah.
No, I was stoked on it. I'm like, yeah. I was like, cool. I like honestly didn't know he played anymore because when I knew him, he played guitar, and then he had since switched to bass. And it just so happened that like, I mean, basses are always needed. Like, there's always enough guitarists to go around, so it's really cool when someone like is actually into bass and not just a guitarist on bass. And so I was like, fuck yeah, like awesome.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I mean that's so fucking embarrassing, but like also it's just like sometimes that shit works, you know. Sometimes mom knows best.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so cool. So how did I'm never gonna get your nickname. How did DeVry? How did you come into this?
So I'm guessing this was some years after they had their interaction. It wasn't?
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
Also, when was this roughly? The whole Shane's mom encounter.
Like a year ago.
Yeah, honestly, probably a year ago.
Oh, I always thought it was much longer.
Yeah, no, it was a year ago probably because
Yeah.
he was gonna play in one of my earlier bands that kind of fizzled out, and that's when I first like started jamming with them, and then I added Shane on to this new project. But very complex history, as you can tell.
And so, like early 2019, I was working on a lot of my old stuff. I knew Alex from high school, and like he had saw like I just posted something. I remember that I was like recording, and he hit me up and was like, "Oh, we should jam again sometime," because we never jammed a bunch.
Yeah, we were always in different bands, but like we were
Yeah.
tight, like we were friends.
Yeah, but so we started jamming for a bit, and then like I don't know, probably like March, like a little bit before COVID hit, he was like, "Dude, I want to get back into band. Let's try and start something." And then he brought Shane, and then we had a jam session here, and it went pretty well.
I mean, yeah, we clicked, I would say.
Yeah,
we
and
were all
then-
stoked on it.
A few weeks later, we were looking for a drummer, and then we finally got Jason, which they both knew. I didn't know Jason before.
Yeah.
We both knew Jason, our drummer, separately, and didn't know that we already knew him. I used to work at KFC back in high school, and then he was my coworker's friend, and then we would like hang out sometimes, and then you knew him from
His mom was my AP psychology teacher in high school.
They had fucking actually, yeah. I guess some high schools do have AP psychology. Mine did. I didn't take it. Yeah, I wish I had. That's a fucking cool ass class to.
Yeah, well,
He's a cool teacher.
yeah,
Yeah. Man, just like you guys are really just powered by moms and grandmas, huh? Like, you guys are fucking taken care of. It's that's cool.
Yeah, matriarchy.
Oh hell yeah, that's healthy. Yeah. So, like, how would you describe your sound? Which I'm sure that's like, I don't know. Maybe that's not a bad question to ask. Like, is that a yeah?
Not at all. No.
Yeah.
That's a
How would
great
you describe your sound?
I would say that we are obviously influenced by King Gizzard, but I wouldn't say that our music directly sounds exactly what they would put out. I think a few people have compared us more to like Frankie and the Witch Fingers as for sound, which I would agree with a little bit more, which is just because they have a little bit more almost like bluesy sound than what King Gizzard is doing, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're a little less like proggy.
Yeah, they're like more,
Yeah. I still have yet to really get into Frankie and the Witch Fingers, but they've been recommended to me. Yeah, they've been recommended to me endlessly from other guests I've had on this podcast. Spotify's just like, hey, get with the program. I'm just like I'm just like, but I'm all Giz, and I've got my Giz podcast. I'm just a bitch, but
You know what? You actually look a little bit like their lead singer.
Yeah.
I'll take that because everybody's been telling me I look like Howard Stern, and it's like getting really old. Like I've been thinking like I should just get a haircut because like it's basic because like I got this thinking like maybe I'll sort of go with like that Chris Cornell type of thing, but nobody has made that comparison at all.
I think it's cool. I think you work it.
I don't know. It's the problem is like so I'm a stand-up comedian primarily, and like when every show somebody goes like, it's Howard Stern, like like I was just on the I guess like the day that this comes out, the day before, I will have just appeared on the Kill Tony podcast at the Comedy Store, and their guest called me Howard Stern on that podcast. It's got like 60,000 some subscribers, and I'm just like, fuck, everybody's gonna know me as the Howard Stern guy. So I'm thinking, let's chop this shit off. When I wear my glasses, and have a short haircut, I do kind of look like Katie Lang. So I think that'll we're gonna go back to that.
I mean, you could also just lean into it, just like flip it, make it work for you.
Well, I appreciate the input. Who knows? The wind tides are changing every day. All right, we're way too in my head and in my own bullshit. So let's get back to Deepsea Daniels, because you guys are way more interesting. Because you're making music and shit. Do you guys like this interests me? Like, do you guys like make a concerted effort to make your stuff sound like kind of different from other songs of yours? Like how much emphasis would you place on being eclectic?
I think it's almost more natural than it's like us working at it. Like we all write songs, which is pretty cool. So like every song is different in that sense. It's like written mostly by like a different author. So like sometimes like, I don't know, Shane has like these big like kind of like prog rock epics that he does, or like soul infused things that he does. And Alex, I would say, is like more punky, I guess I would say, for him. And then
Probably, yeah.
I feel like maybe I'm a little bit more over the place just with like poppy stuff, I would say.
Nice.
So, in that sense, it already is more eclectic, I would say, than not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a reflection of our musical interests, and then just like getting ideas. And I mean, yeah, we definitely admire Giz, where they redefine their they experiment a lot. So yeah, we like to try and do that as well.
Hell yeah. So like being in a band interests me because like I used to play in bands like in middle school and high school, and like I just haven't, like I tried to play with one a couple years ago that just really didn't work out. But yeah, it interests me like what your process is, like what the process is to like actually come up with stuff. Like, would you say it's mostly from like jamming with each other, or is it like kind of a hybrid of that and just whatever you got going on your own?
I think probably a majority of the time it's like either a completed song or a mostly completed song that each of us would individually bring. But we have been trying to put more of an emphasis on like jamming and coming up with stuff. We have a good couple that we've started
as a group, kind of.
Yeah, I'd say we're still kind of figuring it out, and our process is changing recently. But yeah, we bring our own songs, and then we've been trying to do more jammy improv stuff and try and write in different ways.
Hell yeah. So like when it comes to like effects and I guess like what kind of gear setup do you guys got going on? Like is there an effect that you guys like to really emphasize and like sort of make into your signature? I mean, I know you guys are also only like a year old as a band, and this is like pretty intense stuff. So forgive me, but like we're segueing directly from like 10 years of Giz into this. So I'm just like I'm just like fascinated by like what kind of sound are you going for? And
I think these are great questions. I think this is really cool. I think
yeah.
for one thing, I used to be one of those guys who like never used pedals and stuff, and then Alex kind of got me addicted to them, and now I'm spending all my money on pedals and stuff. So we definitely have some cool stuff on our pedal board. One thing that we like to mess around with is the classic King Gizzard like delay sound where it's like the
Yep.
like the fast one. So we yeah, like that kind of thing. So we both have one of those on our pedal boards that we like to mess around with. That's kind of a newer addition, but
Yeah.
it's definitely pretty fun.
Yeah, I picked up a DD3 myself from Boss. Or like I tried it at Guitar Center and then bought it used on eBay, but it's a good trick.
Exactly.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah,
buy new pedals. Never buy new pedals.
Yeah, they're going under anyways, so.
Yeah. Good.
Everyone no.
Yeah. No, I mean, I do like how there are, these like sort of startup, maybe not startup companies, but there are like these more independent, pedal developers like Earthquaker Devices. I picked up their levitation pedal about a month ago, and that's they call it a reverberation machine. So it just creates like this really sick, like dreamy atmosphere.
Cool.
That like I love using. It can act sort of like a delay as well, except it's not the same mechanic. It's not like the it's just holds.
That's cool.
Yeah, but what kind of, so are you guys also going with the DD3 delay, or are you doing like a different one?
We have our pedal board. You want to do show and tell?
Yeah, let's do a show and tell. Let's check out these pedals.
All right, I'm taking my wall off.
I have a whopping 0 pedals.
I was about to say, Shane, this is going to be a lonely segment.
So here's mine so you can see it.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously I got a DD7 actually, which I got when I didn't know anything about pedals, to be honest. And then this is my newest favorite one. The rest are just, chorus, delay, distortion, fuzz, your classic stuff.
Yeah.
This Earthquaker one I just got is really cool. It's a harmonic tremolo, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And so it's basically a tremolo with a phaser behind it, or on top of it.
Oh.
And so that's really fun to play around with. That's kind of my only interesting one, really. But yeah, that's pretty much it for mine.
Yeah, the rest of those are really boring.
Yeah.
Mine, yeah. And we both have wahs, but they're on the ground.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, actually, well, I'll get into my shit after we check this out.
Okay. So I have like similar to the harmonic tremolo. Where's the camera on this? Or no, wait, that's the wrong.
That's the tuner.
So here's the start. It's a Univibe, and I have the expression pedal hooked up for the speed. Here's an Earthquaker one I like a lot. The what's it called? Hoof Reaper. It's a pretty sick fuzz. I like. That's my overdrive. It's like a JHS one. It's got 2 of them. I got an EQ that I use to boost. We both do that. Simple. Chorus, Giz delay. Rubberneck. The Giz delay. Yeah, Giz. And then the Giz delay is just some cheap like $20 one. That's my regular delay. And then, yeah.
Word. Wait, so actually, can you pull that up one more time? I just had a question about so what's that? I mean, first of all, you got the Altoids thing there, and that's just fucking adorable. But
of course, yeah.
But then there's that just button that's under the Altoids thing. What's that going to?
This is for this channel of the overdrive. It has right here a low gain and a high gain switch, but when you have this, it's like just a remote for that. So it switches it to. It's pretty sick. This overdrive pedal, because there's like you can do so many combinations. You can do like this one with the low, this one with the high, on their own. It's
yeah.
If I ever need more loud, more volume,
more balls.
Yeah, I can just hit that red switch and it does the trick with the boost that I have.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah, that's like super useful. I guess while we're on the topic of boards, I'll just like mine's right here.
Okay, totally. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to get a double distortion one.
Yeah, the double fuzz.
So,
I know.
Here we go.
All right, what do we got?
All right. Starting with, so, let me turn off my virtual background for a minute. This is the first time. This is the first time on this podcast that anybody will ever see the barren walls of my room.
You're doxing yourself. You're doxing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I got my laundry right behind me. All right. So, so this is what we're dealing with. Starting with, we got the chromatic tuner. There, bought that used. I got a mini Crybaby.
I've been wanting a mini Crybaby. Those are handy.
Yeah, I picked that up used off eBay. And then same with this Boss Heavy Metal HM2. It's from like the 80s or something. Like I think it's it was made in Japan. And then this CE2 chorus pedal.
I see the dial on the metal pedal as well. all 11.
Yeah. I've been teaching myself self-immolate. So, then we got this levitation pedal.
Nice.
And one of my all-time. Then we have my Ditto looping machine. It's like really simple, super handy. It's great for jamming, and I've been able to incorporate it into live stuff. And then here's like one of the fucking Easter eggs. This old MXR flanger that has its own power supply, so it doesn't. I can't put it on the board, but it just kind of hangs off. Like my dad got the pedal as a gift from somebody like back in the 1980s. Like he still has the box for it. It like has the original price tag on it. It says $200, and that's like 1970s pricing.
That's super sick.
Yeah, although I have looked on eBay to see like what could I get for it if I really needed to, and it has depreciated in value. For whatever reason, like MXR, like vintage MXR, somehow aren't that sought after, or at least not the flange. But it's got a great, analog sound. So like, one of the songs. So like mostly I'm playing covers, and I do a ton of Giz covers. And one of them that I play is Inner Cell. So like I use the flanger on that for the chorus to sort of mimic the mimic the atmosphere of the synthesizers. And it works for that. So yeah, but
I'm glad this turned into a gear talk.
yeah. Giz talk, gear talk, it's all good. It's all it's all part of it. It's what makes the sound.
Definitely.
But yeah. Anyway, we've been going for almost an hour, which is perfect. But like I guess we never got into your guys's. Like obviously we know Shane's backstory with Giz, but like how did you guys, the Alexes, how did you guys discover Giz?
In my senior year of high school, one of my best friends that I've known forever, who's always been super into music, I was trying to get more into it. I was into rock as a young kid, and I got into EDM in high school. Well, it wasn't my best phase. There's still some good stuff there, but wasn't my brightest time. And I was just asking him for some rock band recommendations, and he told me Ty Segall and King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, and Nonagon had just come out, I think.
Who was it?
Wyatt Davis. I shouldn't bleep his name. I don't know if he wants to be doxxed on here. But he introduced me to them, and I instantly was super into it.
Nice. How would he get doxxed for introducing you to King Giz?
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, good job, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, I'll be the one get doxxed. Like Wyatt Davis sounds like kind of a douchey name. I'll be honest, but you're fine. He introduced you to Giz, like that. He's doing God's work. I'm just here being the asshole trying to reap the benefits of all the Giz's, Giz's greatness. Anyway, no. But so that was what, 2016-ish?
Yeah, 2016, 2017. I remember I also found Flying Microtonal Banana that year. That one I was super into. I remember hearing Nuclear Fusion to be like, what? With the hi-hats going back and forth. I was like, this is too sick. The album loops. They got everything.
Yeah, I mean that was so Flying Microtonal Banana is what got me into Giz. So obviously KG has like that's why I consider like a top 5 album for me. But yeah, I mean, like Flying Microtronal Banana, Nonagon, like those both kind of loop, you know? And like since, you know, I don't know, I guess that was like that was one of the things I really liked about Giz is just how they, you know, have all these seamless transitions into like the next song and sometimes back to the beginning of the album. Yeah, it's just sick. But yeah, so Alex, number 1. What about you?
So I'm not gonna lie, my first taste of King Gizzard ever was actually the video that they did on Conan O'Brien when they played Lord of Lightning. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I like Conan O'Brien, so I'm always watching Conan O'Brien videos. I'm like, how? That's a weird name. And this was way before the band. I don't even know what year this was, but it was like maybe it was when Murder of the Universe came out.
Yeah, probably 2017.
Yeah, so I watched that and I was like, all right, this is weird. Like they have 2 drummers, like that's kind of trippy. And I kind of just shoved that behind. Like I knew about them and stuff. And then when I started jamming with Alex again, he was like, dude, like you got to start listening to him. Like it's super cool. And so he took me on like the journey. He was like, you have to start off with Mind Fuzz. And so I listened to Mind Fuzz.
That's just my hot take.
It's a good place to start. I think it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is really sick. Like I'm super into this. And then came Nonagon Infinity. And I remember texting Alex. I was like, dude, it just opened the door. I just choose your word. Like, dude, like the door is open. Just like I'm so into this.
One of the funniest, I just have to bring this up. He was listening to Murder of the Universe, and he asked
Lord
me.
of Lightning,
Yeah. He was listening to it, and he's like, "Why does it say Nonagon Infinity when that's a different album?" And I was like, "Oh, you have so much to learn."
And I did, and I did learn.
Yeah, God, that's so fucking cool. I mean, like it's, and you know, back to what I was saying earlier about like I maybe in the future I won't listen to the singles as much. Like I'll just hear it a couple times and then shelve it. Just because like the first time actually taking in an album is such a crazy journey. You know, like if you're able to really just sit with yourself and the music, it really is just kind of like a spiritual, you know, quest. It's just like, all right, just hit me. What is this? And yeah, it's so cool because it's like you can only listen to an album for the first time once, you know? And like I kind of miss being able to do that with Giz, but you know, you only get to do that like 16 or 17 times. So
for now.
Yeah, I'm just really put out by him now. But yeah. Anyway, before we wrap up, is there anything that you guys have been thinking about, Giz related or otherwise, that we haven't talked about yet?
I've been waiting for the marathon set for the Greek theater show nonstop ever since COVID hit. I'm still waiting for that. I got my 2 tickets. Can't wait for that. That's the only Giz thing on my mind.
I think you mentioned that in your first podcast with him, Shane.
Yeah.
Marathon set.
Yeah, marathon set.
Yeah. I've got tickets to like all 3 shows that hopefully happen, you know, next year. Yeah. I just started making a vision board this week, so I'm like putting Red Rocks on it because I have to manifest that, you know. I put.
We'll think of
we'll
combine
energies.
I put Red Rocks plus like a clip that just says COVID-19 vaccine. So it's just like, yeah, that shit's just going right on the board. We're gonna manifest some goodness. So yeah, I need these marathon shows to happen. Are all you guys planning on going to the marathon shows, or just still
I
only have 2 tickets.
I have 2 tickets. At the time, we weren't in a band yet, so I was like, I can probably find one other person to go with me. So I just bought 1 other ticket. So
I missed out.
these guys are gonna
Shane,
have to be nice to me. Or I did comment Shane first.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I mean, StubHub works too.
Maybe
management will step in and say that if I don't get those bass parts down in 1 take,
It's gonna go to
then
me.
it'll
go to me.
Oh man, well, you know, hopefully that wouldn't cause too much of a schism in the band, you know, a schism in the rhythm, right? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and I can't wait to hear do you guys have any music out on like Bandcamp or Spotify at the moment, or is it still in the works?
Yeah, we have one album out, and then we have a lot of stuff that we're working on right now. So it'll be soon. Yeah, we'll have some singles and stuff soon, but we have one album right now.
Well, sick. I can't wait to hear all that and to plug you guys. Yeah, you guys are sick.
Yeah, it's great talking to you again. And
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, for sure.
Drive out there to the desert.
Oh, I would fucking love to have you guys in Joshua Tree. That'd be sick. Yeah. It can be done. Anyway, enjoy Grandma's food and say hi to her. Take it easy.
All right, thank you.
Have a good one,
You
man.
too.